What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about setting up your own fat loss plan. I am in my deficit. I'm week 1 into my deficit, and I thought what a more perfect time than this just to talk about how to set up your own fat loss plan. So let's get into it. I've got some notes on my phone. Also, I'm just going to complain for a second. Other women who are watching this, I do not understand how you guys put on makeup and it looks soft and like one color. Like, I tried so hard. Oh, is this as far as it goes? And like, look how discolored. Like, I tried to put on so much concealer, and you can actually see because now I've got bags under my eyes. But like, it's just so gray and it just doesn't look soft and blended. Like, what the how do I solve this? Okay, it's really important, first of all, to understand how your metabolism works and like what your metabolism actually is. So your metabolism is really a summation of like your bone mass, your organ mass, muscle mass, fat mass, and your water weight. Your metabolism also takes into account energy output. So whenever you digest food, you're burning energy. Whenever you exercise, you're burning energy. And whenever you're fidgeting and doing little movements, brushing your hair, standing up to go to the bathroom, that is something called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And your body is also burning energy whenever it does that. So all of those things together equal your basal metabolic rate plus your estimated activity levels. That in turn equates to the energy that your body requires to consume to maintain its functions. It's really important to know that your metabolism works as a range of calories. It is not a single set number. That is because you have a lot of things that influence your metabolism over the course of a day or a couple of days. Your metabolism has compensatory mechanisms. So let's say you went for a really hard run that you haven't done in a while, your body burns more energy, but its compensatory mechanism is to increase the energy intake. So whereas your metabolism might require 2,500 calories on a certain day, the next day you expend far more energy. It requires more energy in. So maybe on that specific day you needed an extra 100, 150 calories, whatever, but your weight stabilizes, your weight maintains. If you have a weekend where you kind of indulge, you have some dessert, you have some alcohol, some junk food, whatever it is, you might see a fluctuation on the scale initially, but then within the next day or two, your weight goes back down. That's because probably you didn't go that far outside of your maintenance range. For long-term fat gain to happen, you need to be adding a substantial amount of calories over time for that to happen. If you guys are looking for fat loss, you need to be in an energy deficit. It's not about how low carb you eat. It's not about intermittent fasting. It's not about cutting specific food groups. Eating sugar doesn't automatically make you fat. You could eat junk food and be in a calorie deficit and lose weight. However, you probably don't want to go that route because junk food is very calorie dense, but it's not very satiating food. It's lacking a lot of protein and fiber, and those things help keep you full, for one. Protein is a really important component to help keeping muscle mass, and protein also can increase your thermal effect of food just a little bit more than other macronutrients. So you still want to consume a high protein diet. Also, whenever you're eating a lot of junk food and highly processed foods, you are missing out on a lot of vitamins and minerals that are more optimal for your health. So don't conflate the two. You can be in energy deficit and eat junk food, but you are probably going to feel like crap. So you need to find a balance of satiating foods, high protein diet, and you can have some fun foods for sure, but you need to maintain your calorie deficit for weight loss and have a variety of fruits, vegetables, and other micronutrients to keep your health markers up. A healthy rate of weight loss is anywhere between 0.5% to 1% of your body weight per week. So If you are a larger person with more fat mass, or you are a person who has a lot of calories within a day and is maintaining their weight on such high calories, you can opt for the higher end of weight loss per week. So you can opt for that 1% of weight loss. If you are someone who is maybe like me, who's smaller frame, I don't have that much fat mass to lose, I'm gonna need to go on the lower end of that percentage, because that higher end comes with a caveat. Yes, it sounds like it's great, you're gonna be losing weight quicker, but in order to do that, you need to be in a greater deficit to achieve that. A greater deficit means you're eating less food. Me, at my weight, 147, a weight loss of 0.5% per week initially is something like taking away 367 calories out of my diet. If I follow that for 12 weeks, I'm going to be losing about 8.8 pounds. If I follow the diet for longer, which is totally possible, if I find that I'm still feeling good and everything is adherable and manageable, I could go for longer, for 15 weeks, and potentially see about 11 pounds total of weight loss. But if I wanted to go the faster route and go for the 1%, that is a 735 calorie deficit to achieve that. That is a lot of calories. I've been maintaining my calories around 2,500. If I take out that 1%, that is all the way down to 1,765 calories per day for that weight loss. That is a huge drop in calories, and with that huge drop, your metabolism very quickly wants to compensate for those things. It is going to spike up your hunger hormones to make you hungry. It's going to increase your cravings, and you could definitely have disruption in your sleep. Poor sleep is linked with poor decision making, and again, another increase in food cravings. And so you have all these mechanisms that are trying to drive you to eat food. So if that is the case, and you continuously overeat or binge because the restriction itself was too much to handle right off the bat, you're not doing yourself any favors. It's also really important to note that your starting deficit is not going to be your ending deficit. Your body is trying to keep you alive. So in order to do that, it actually starts to down-regulate a lot of its processes to adapt to the lower calorie intake, which means that over time, over your, let's say the 12 weeks, you are not going to continue losing weight at the same rate with that 367 calorie drop. At some point along the journey, or even multiple points along the journey, your metabolism adapts, and then you're going to have to increase the deficit or increase your energy output to continue with the same rate of weight loss. So again, if initially I was seeing results by dropping my calories by over 700 calories, at some point I'm going to have to drop them further or increase my energy output. So that's gonna suck. Another point is I had specifically spent time increasing my calories to 2,500. If you are a person, you could weigh the same as me and have a slower metabolism where you are maintaining your weight 2,000 calories. With the 0.5% drop, you are now supposed to be in a deficit, eating around 1,633 calories, which already can be uncomfortable. If you wanted to go the route of 1% of weight loss, then your calories need to be brought down all the way to 1,265 calories. Ouch. That is seriously not a lot of calories to work with, and that is getting into that super restrictive mentality where a lot of people fail in their diets because it is just less manageable. You have to really think about who you are, how many calories you have, and how much fat mass you have to lose. If you are a larger person, you might have room to be at that 1% of weight loss per body weight per week, simply because you may be ingesting more calories overall, so you have room for a higher deficit. I am also going to mention that the calculator that I use, that is based off of the methods used by Layne Norton, is a little bit different than just straight calculating the calories by the 0.5% and multiplying that by the calories in a pound. So his calculator takes into account your current fat mass to muscle mass and a resistance training diet, if you are resistance training or not resistance training, and how much protein. So if you are on a high protein diet or a low protein diet. So whenever I put all of my info into that calculator, I'm on a high protein diet, I'm continuing to resistance train, then in order to get that 0.5% of weight loss per body weight per week, then instead of subtracting 367 calories, I only need to subtract 280 calories. Obviously, that deficit is just a little bit more favorable. So if you guys are wanting to use this calculator to help you determine what your deficit should be, and I've got the link for that below, just be mindful that you need to save a copy of this first. Otherwise, it's just going to totally be messed up. If so many of you guys are using it at the same time, then this is going to be messed up. What you initially started your deficit on is not what's going to keep you seeing continuous results at the exact same weight. At some point, your metabolism adapts to that decrease. So now you're not going to see the same rate of weight loss. You're going to have to push your deficit further. Another way of saying this is I had my maintenance at 2,500 calories and I had to subtract 360 whatever. So now I'm eating 2,100 calories or so to see that rate of weight loss. Over the weeks, my rate of weight loss slows down enough that it's not really budging, it's not really going anywhere. But maybe my true maintenance now is instead of 2,500 calories, it is like 20 to 50 calories. So in order to continue to see weight loss, now I have to bring my deficit further, maybe subtract another 250 calories from that, and now I have a deficit around 1,900 calories. Okay, you could also increase your deficit not only by taking away calories, you can increase your energy expenditure. So you can increase the daily steps that you're getting, or you can even implement dedicated cardio to help burn calories and push your deficit a little bit further. Whenever you are on a fat loss plan, you need forms of measurement. So you are going to need to be food logging to understand what your current maintenance is and the types of foods you are currently eating. You are going to have needed to be paying attention to your steps. So using like a Fitbit to monitor your general activity levels. Are you getting 2,000 steps a day, 5,000 steps a day, 10,000 steps a day? What are you doing? And also, are you doing any cardio right now? Do you like to run? Do you cycle to work, etc., etc.? You have to know these things in order to move forward and implement a deficit. For example, I know that currently I'm maintaining my weight at 2,500 calories. I've been tracking for the past 7 months or so with on and off breaks, but I know that I'm maintaining at that amount of calories. I've also been tracking my steps using my Fitbit for the past several weeks. So now I have an average of steps that I have every single week, and I have not been doing any additional cardio. So I can use these things as leverage if I need them in a deficit. So going through a calorie deficit, one, I want to make sure that I'm hitting my calorie target to be in a deficit. Two, I want to make sure that the steps I was getting on a week-to-week basis to maintain my weight does not drop. I don't want to go from 5,000 steps a day on average to 3,000 steps a day on average because of those compensatory mechanisms. This is super, super important. You can implement a deficit through food, but if you're not maintaining your same energy output, then you're creating equilibrium and then you're not going to see fat loss. So actually having a step tracker, you need it. And then I'm not doing any cardio, right? So I just know that I'm not doing any additional cardio and I can use that as a stimulus as needed to further push my deficit. Super important to note as well is that I am resistance training, and if you want to see fat loss, you need to maintain as much muscle mass as possible. You need to be resistance training. And even though it's true your strength does decrease while you are in a deficit, it is not an excuse to not push yourself in the gym. You want to go into your workout plan thinking, oh, I must not be stronger. I'm not going to be very strong because I'm in a calorie deficit. So now I'm going to do my cable row instead of 75 pounds. I'm going to do it for 60 pounds because I'm not as strong. That is not the approach you want to take. You still want to work as hard as possible and work through your intensity ranges as much as possible in the gym. You need to use measurements to help keep you on track. Measurements can be taking your weight several times a week. You do not want to take it only one time a week because your weight fluctuates from day to day. You might be taking at a point where it's super high or super low, and the data is just a little bit inaccurate. So you want to take it 3 to 7 times a week, just depending on what suits you, so that you get multiple data points, and then and then you can figure out the average, the true average, and not a spike up or a spike down. Also take circumference measurements of your limbs using a tape measure, and you can use fat calipers as well to measure like the fat, and that should be coming down, of course, as the weeks move on. And you can of course be taking progress photos and also using your clothes to help determine everything that's happening. Also, because your body fluctuates day to day, you may be making long-term progress, but because of those bodily fluctuations on a day-to-day level, you might look worse, even though you've been compliant with all of your training and your nutrition protocols. That is super, super normal. So personally, what I'm going to be using to track my progress is weight measurements 3 to 5 times throughout the week. I am using skin fold calipers to measure. I'm pretty much only measuring my belly fat. I'm not going to measure other sites. And then I'm going to be taking progress photos maybe only like every 3 to 4 weeks. I don't like to take that many progress photos. Okay, you guys, a deficit is for a certain period of time. It is not forever. You should not be lowering your calories and then just having to stay at that low calorie amount forever. That is truly what causes diets to fail, because you've regained the weight because at some point you can't stick to those super low calories that you needed to complete your diet phase. At some point you want to start working your calories back up to a more maintenance level and maintain the weight, most of the weight loss that you've achieved. People can implement a fat loss phase for 8, 10, 12, 16, sometimes 22 weeks. And after that, you need to go through a period where you increase your calories up to a more maintainable range. So a physical and a mental break from dieting, because it sucks. It sucks to say no to going out with your friends. It sucks to be the one that brought a diet soda to the bar or something, right? It sucks to have to say no to really, really fun foods all the time. Just want a total break from that. We want more food flexibility in our diet, and it makes your diet more adherable knowing that it's going to end. If I told you right now you are going to have to eat 1,400 calories for the rest of your life, oh my God, like that sounds daunting, that sucks, and you are not going to do it. You could eat 1,400 calories for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then at some point it just starts to suck too much, it becomes too hard, and then you start to lapse into your previous eating habits. But if I told you you only have to eat 1,400 calories for 8 weeks, and then we can start to add in more food and more calories, how much more adherable could that be? Because you know you have to do it for a short time. All right. I also want to point out that whenever you guys are seeing influencers and you're seeing these super lean, ripped, toned gals who are saying that they can eat 2,500 calories a day, but they're so lean, they barely have any body fat, they have flat tummies, they look super strong, you know, they have definition in their abs, in their arms, in their legs, in their butt, blah, blah, blah. They did not gain to get there. They did not body recomp to get there. They have gone through multiple cycles of bulks, even if it was a small, and increasing their calories to help them build muscle, and then specific fat loss phases, and doing that a couple times or more to achieve such a lean physique with tone and being able to eat as many calories as they eat. That is not a body recomposition. And that is something that I did not understand for a very long time. I thought that I was going to body recomp and I just had to work harder and harder in the gym and make sure that I was ingesting enough protein, and then over time I would look like that. For most people, that's just not gonna work. For like 95% of you, that's not gonna work. There are some outliers who maybe they just already have like a bomb figure and they just need that little extra bit of protein and resistance training and they can look stellar. But most of you who are wanting to achieve this leaner look, muscle definition, tone, you know, whatever you want to call it, and also not be like having to eat 1,500 calories to maintain that. You want to be eating 2,000 calories plus to maintain that. That is going through stages of building, increasing your calories to help you build muscle, and going through fat loss phases to help you lose the fat, and then doing that again and again until you are able to maintain your lean physique on high calories. All right, you guys, so if you want to use my deficit calculator, then I have it linked below. So click on that. That might be super, super helpful for you. And then if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe for more fitness content from me. And I'll see you guys in another video.